Perfect segue. That's a professional segue right there. You're starting to get the hang of this. Jeff Brink entering the studio. Jeff, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
No problem. Glad to be here.
Coach, I mean, obviously now with the postseason underway, you guys have a full regular season under your belt. You ran, I think, 2021 in a row to start the season. Talk to me about expectation to reality base. Where was this team bar at? Did you meet it? Did you exceed it? Where do you think you are from expectations?
I think anytime you come into a season, you try to set short-term goals. You want to get better at some of the little things. You want to be a better rebounding team. You want to be a better ball handling team. You want to be better at the free throw line, better execution of your sets and your offense and things like that. And I think that sometimes if you can achieve the short-term goals, it helps you to achieve some of the long-term goals. And when you look at the big picture, I think we knew we had a talented team. I mean, they went to the regionals last year. Coach French and his staff did an unbelievable job. They've been very successful. If you look at our program, historically, it's been a traditional power in the Mahoning Valley. So it's coming in. We knew we had some talent. You returned 3 starters from last year that were very good players. So the talent was there, and we just had to get some guys in and hopefully get them a chance to learn what we wanted them to do, what our expectations were. But we felt we could compete for the league and have a good shot. And we knew Lowville was going to be a great team. And again, we had to play them early in the year, which I think was a little tough for us, catching them right off, off of the football season where we had not really practiced much. But, we feel fortunate to have won the league and to be able to run a table in the league. Our non-league schedule was extremely challenging. A multitude of Division II schools. Then you had threw in a couple good Division III powerhouses. And it was a challenge, but I think that's how you get tournament ready. You have to play better teams. And for us, I think it was a benefit to be able to play, that difficult non-league schedule, to trying to get ready for the tournament play.
Coach, I know no one ever wants to lose. You never root for a loss, but the last game of the regular season, Yoda LeBray, you fall in a really close game. Some coaches say that losing late in the season like that can refocus the team and re-engage them. Do you kind of see that as a positive, and something you can learn from that is realizing that if you don't play your A game or if you don't show up, teams can beat you, and being able to share that lesson with a loss to end the regular season?
Absolutely. When you look at it and say, is it frustrating, difficult to have a perfect season go awry and a 1-point loss on the last game of the season? Absolutely. That's a tough way to go out. On the fortunate side of that is it's a learning experience. So we broke it down and we spent a lot of time over the last week going through what are some of the little things that we need to get better at that we've kind of lost sight of, in terms of you get away with winning games. Maybe you're not having the attention to detail that you need. And I think sometimes a loss brings that into perspective to be able to say, hey, we have to be good at these things for our team to be successful. We don't have the biggest team in the world. We don't have a ton of depth. So for us, we have to be very successful at everything we do in terms of execution. And that's something that we really put a high priority on.
We know some of the best teams in the area. The things that it's easy to get complacent when you start getting wins all the time too, and it's easy not to keep striving to get better. But what are you doing with the team too, and what do you think some of the things for the team that they could shore up here going into the tournaments too?
One of the things when you look at our team, we're blessed with great senior leadership, and when you have people like Bo Brungard and Adam Wary and Alex Rothwell, Jake Joyce, I mean, Bo Brungard is as competitive a player as I've ever coached in my career. He didn't take the loss well the other night. I don't take the loss well. And I think that's something that's a good thing. I think when you play in a community like Springfield, there are high expectations every year. And there's a lot of pressure. I mean, it goes with it. When we went to the regional back in, I think it was 2003, they hadn't gone to the regional in 35 years. So to go to the regional every year was a goal. And we had freak things, bad luck, injuries, illness, buzzer beaters, things that had gone awry. And I think every year the kids felt that pressure. And I think pressure is a privilege. I mean, pressure is a privilege because I think pressure means that it's meaningful, that it's something that people care about. And to live in a community where there's pressure means it's a privilege that you have an opportunity to coach somewhere where people care about success and they value it. And there's obviously high expectations and aspirations for bigger and better things in Springfield. And for us, what we've tried to do is look at what do we got to do defensively? We got to be better defensively. And in the LeBray game, we didn't shoot the ball well. and part of that is execution, where you don't get the shots you want because you didn't execute. And you got to give them credit. I mean, they're a good ball club and they played a great game, but we have to look at our perspective of what do we need to do to get better. The execution part is the little things, how you come off screens, box outs, how you approach defending a screen, all those things that you kind of take for granted are little things that blown assignments. Blown assignment can cost you a game in the tournament. So details matter. You have to be willing to show attention to the details, because you're going to run into better and better teams every step of the way. Every step down the tournament trail is a better ball club. And to be able to beat the better ball clubs, you better be able to do the little things, and you better be able to sit down in a half court game and be able to execute, or you're going to lose. That's the bottom line.
I love that you made it a step, because every tournament game is just another step towards your ultimate goal. But you can't look 2 steps ahead. If you try to take 2 steps instead of 1, you're going to trip.
Right.
How have you kind of kept this team focused on the team that's in front of them and not look forward to district championship or anything before you get there, and just take 1 step at a time?
Yeah, I think it's, again, goes back to the kids that we have. Our football team, I thought Coach Guerrero did a great job of that. They went game by game. You do your job. And we kind of talked to our team about embrace the grind. You have to embrace the grind. It's basketball's a long season, longest season of any of the sports in high school. And I go back to, there are a multitude of games, and to be able to bring that competitive nature every night, you have to embrace it. You have to appreciate the dirty work, the lunch pail work. And that's kind of something we've sold our team on.
Coach, you talked about the outside pressure, and with that pressure, though, does come community support. So talk about being able to have the success this season to then be able to host a couple of a sectional semi and a sectional final game at Springfield, and being able to play in front of that home crowd and get that support.
Oh, I think it's a huge thing for our kids. I think for our seniors to get 2 more home games. When you never know when your season's done, are you going to get home games? And they've changed the format to allow that now. And I think for our seniors to get the 2 additional home games, and to give Tiger Nation a chance to be back at Clinton Smith Court, and to pack the jungle. I mean, it's just a tremendous place to play, to be in front of the fans. The community support there is unbelievable. And you guys have seen games out there and covered games. And it's just to be in your hometown where you have the following that we have. And as I said, it's a privilege. There's just a multitude of people that it becomes a fabric of the community with the athletics. It's interwoven. And I appreciate that. And our players, it's something we sell our players on, that you are part of the community. The community values this. It is part of the fabric. It's something that's appreciated. And again, it is high expectations. I mean, people there have very high expectations. But for us, I go back to what you said. I agree 100%. It's the proverbial 1 game at a time. You have to look at the tournament trail as 1 step. It goes back to the old Jim Valvano. I'm sure you guys have seen that 30 for 30 with Valvano, survive in advance. It's one of my favorite 30 for 30 episodes. But what a great statement for anyone in the tournament trail, survive in advance. It's not always going to be pretty. It doesn't always have to be great, but you got to find a way to survive. How do you get down and survive? And part of that is embracing the grind. You have to be able to embrace that and appreciate that and fight through that. And the one thing I think that we have that is really special is you have kids that grew up together, that have played together since 3rd, 4th grade. There's a love for each other. I mean, they got a friendship. These are guys that grew up, that hang out together. They stay over each other's houses. Their families are friends, and it just, they spend a lot of time together. So there is definitely at least a little bit of devotion to each other and caring and unselfishness. I mean, you look at our game last night. We had a size advantage. Alex Rothwell goes off in the first quarter, scores about 18 points. Adam Wary, the guy's a capable 30-point guy. I don't even know if he took a shot. And I said, Adam, we got to I'll run a set for you, get you a shot. And his thing is, Coach, I'm fine. I'm good. Don't worry about it. We're killing them inside. Let's keep attacking. And that's the kind of guys we got. I mean, you have guys like just leadership, unselfish play. I'm going to be honest with him, a coach. It's a dream. It's an absolute dream to have the players. I go back and say, I've coached for 35 plus years now. It's probably one of the best classes of kids I've ever coached in terms of the people that I have. Just great young men to be a part of. And I said, my biggest regret right now is that I've only had them for 1 year. And for a lot of these guys, especially with the football guys, you've only had them for a few months. So you don't really get to build the relationship that you would have over 8-9 years of knowing them since grade school. Luckily I have a little bit of background because I know their families, because I'm from Springfield and have some accountability going back with their home.
Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and talk about your program more and to preview this next game and talk about the tournament run that you guys are on. And we wish you the best of luck in the future games that you have, and we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Well, I appreciate you having me on. You guys do a great job with coverage in the area, and we're lucky in Mahoning Valley to have you guys around to cover us for sports. So thank you.
That means a lot, Coach. Thank you again.
Thank you, Coach.